Mr. T here. This is onto the second page of the Year 9 Maths Practice Algebraic Expansion and Simplification test. So we're using distributive law with slightly more complicated situations here. So, blue pen. Okay, so we've got one set of brackets here, and then a term on the outside, which we're going to leave alone to start off with. So the term on the outside is 2a, I'm timesing it by the first term in the brackets, which is b, plus the term on the outside again, 2a times by negative a. And then I'm going to put the plus a squared on the outside, leaving it alone. So 2a times by b is 2ab, plus 2a times by a, because 2a is positive and negative a is negative, it's going to be a negative answer, negative 2a squared, and then I've got the plus a squared on the right hand side, which I haven't done anything with. A plus and a minus sign becomes a minus 2a squared plus a squared. Collect like terms. We've got two like terms here, both with a squareds on them. I don't have anything alike with 2ab, so I'll leave it. If I've got negative 2a squareds and I add an a squared, I'm going to have negative 1a squared, which is just negative a squared. Next, here we have two sets of brackets, so we need to deal with them separately. The first set of brackets is going to be 3 times by the x in the brackets, plus 3 on the outside times by the 4 in the brackets. Then we have the next section, which is positive 5 times by the x in the brackets, plus positive 5 times by the negative 2 in the brackets. 3 times by x is 3x, plus 3 times by 4 is 12, plus 5 times by x is 5x, plus 5 times by negative 2 is negative 10. 3x plus 12 plus 5x, a plus and a minus sign become a minus. So, collecting like terms, 3x's and 5x's makes 8x's. Positive 12 take 10 is going to be positive 2. Another set of brackets, but we've got a minus between them. Doesn't change anything, you just need to deal with the terms properly. 4 times by the a in the first brackets, plus 4 times by the 3 in the first brackets, plus negative 2 times by 5a in the second brackets, plus negative 2 times by 4 in the second brackets. 4 times a is 4a, 4 times 3 is 12, plus negative 2 times by 5a is negative 10a's, plus negative 2 times by 4 is negative 8. Plus and minus signs become minuses. Collect like terms. 4a's take 10a's is negative 6a's. Positive 12 take 8 is positive 4, so negative 6a plus 4. This question has more variables in it, but doesn't change what you do. N times by n in the first brackets, plus n times by 5 in the first brackets, plus 4 times by n in the second brackets, plus 4 times by negative 6 in the second brackets. N times by n is n squared, plus n times by 5 is 5n's, plus 4 times by n is 4n's, plus 4 times by negative 6 is negative 24. N squared plus 5n plus 4n. Plus and minus becomes a minus. From now on, I'm not going to change the plus and the minus to a minus in the as a whole extra step of working out. I'll just do it straight away. That'll save me space. N squared. If I've got 5n's and 4n's, I've got 9n's. Take 24. Another one here. I'm going to start it down here. Negative 7 times by a plus negative 7 times by b. And the second set, positive b times by a plus positive b times by negative b. Negative 7a's. Negative 7 times by b is going to be negative 7b, and because there's a plus there, it's going to be negative 7b. Plus b times by a is going to be ab in alphabetical order. This b times by negative b is going to be negative b squared. Because you're adding it, it's going to just go to a negative b squared there. And we don't have any like terms here. So leave it at that. Question 3. Expand and simplify the following using FOIL. So remembering FOIL means firsts, outers, inners, lasts. What are we doing between those? We are timesing the firsts, timesing the outers, timesing the inners, timesing the lasts. We're referring to terms there, and what are we doing with those timesings? We are adding the answers together. So, the firsts in each bracket in this question are x times by x. The outers are the x on the left-hand side times by the 2 on the right-hand side, plus the inners, the inner terms. The innermost terms are the -5 times by the x, and then lastly the lasts are -5 times by the 2 right at the end. So x times by x is x squared, x times by 2 is 2x, -5 times by x is going to be -5x. If I'm adding -5x, this is going to be the same as taking 5x, and then -5 times by 2 is -10. If I'm adding that, it's the same as just taking 10. Collect like terms, x squared. If I've got 2x's, take 5x's, I would be at -3x's. Take 10. X squared, take 3x, take 10. FOIL here, slightly more complicated. You've got a term with a variable. The second set of brackets. Firsts, 3 times by 6x, plus outers, 3 times by 1, plus inners, -x times by 6x, plus its lasts, -x times by 1. 3 times by 6x, 18x, plus 3 times by 1, 3. -x times by 6x is going to be -6x squared, because I'm adding it, the plus and the minus sign become a minus anyway. And then -x times by 1 is going to be -1x, or -x, because I'm adding that on. It just becomes a minus sign anyway. Collect like terms. If I've got 18x's and I take an x, I'll have 17x's. I've got a +3 here, and I've got a -6x squared. And that is page 2 done. I'll see you on the next page.